Hey, what's up, guys? This is Colin Reese. Recently, England's been playing really poorly in the UEFA Nations League, but I believe this is just because they've been rotating their lineup so much. So I want to go over what I think is the best England lineup, and this isn't the only England lineup I would use. I actually have a couple that I like, but I'm going to call this my best England 11 for now, and it's got a few changes and a slight formation change, but I didn't do any of this specifically just to be different or to create some sort of controversial 11. So in goal, I would go with Aaron Ramsdale. And I was really impressed actually with Aaron Ramsdale in the first game of the UEFA Nations League. There was one play in particular where a ball was played back to him, or either a ball was played close to his area, and it was outside of the area, and he charged out of the area and chested it, to safety. And I forgot if he then just kicked it out or passed it or whatever, but I thought that was really impressive how he stopped. He either stopped the attack or he handled a kind of poorly played pass to him really well. And again, I forgot if it was some sort of back pass or if it was, a through ball that the opposition played. And I'm actually blanking out on who England played the very first game of the Nations League. But anyway, that's when it was. So at right back, I'm a big Reece James fan. I think Reece James is a lot better defensively than Trent Alexander-Arnold. And I also think Reece James is just a really good footballer overall. Just his technical ability, his overall touch, passing. I think he combines really well. He gets forward well. He's a good attacker. He can score. He can set up goals. I think he also has more cultured passing than just some of the kind of bombs down the sideline and his crosses. He plays a lot of balls on the ground into the middle, like diagonal balls, or he'll play a chip to someone in the middle. It's not just the run down to the inline and hit a blind cross. And I think actually he's got basically the skill set of a good midfielder, which is always really helpful when you're playing right back where you're expected to contribute to the attack. Now for the two center backs, I'm going to go with Harry Maguire and Fikayo Tomori. Maguire had a bad season with Manchester United last year, but I think he's a lot better center back than that. And for now, I would say he and Fikayo Tomori are the two good ones. And of course, Fikayo Tomori had a great season with AC Milan, where AC Milan won the Scudetto. And I think Fikayo Tomori's the best English defender, and he's the most complete English defender, and he's better than Harry Maguire. For left back, I'm going to go with Kieran Trippier. I thought he's been doing pretty well recently. He's obviously did really well in the last World Cup. He does well in major tournaments, and he played well when he played for Atletico de Madrid. And it's really rare for English players to go play in La Liga. So anyway, that's my back four: Reece James, Harry Maguire, Fikayo Tomori, and Kieran Trippier. Now for the formation I'm using is a diamond 4-4-2. So in the midfield, I got Declan Rice as the defensive midfielder, and I don't think that needs too much explanation. And then Jude Bellingham. I think Jude Bellingham is a totally complete midfielder, and he's got to start. And I think some people are kind of biased against him since he plays in the Bundesliga as opposed to the Premier League. But I think he has to start. He's just provides so much running, defending, and then also passing and attacking, and he's really good going forward as well. And I think he just absolutely has to start. And the other center midfielder in this diamond midfield is Mason Mount. I was going to go with Trent Alexander-Arnold. And that's a possibility, but I'm going to go with Mason Mount. And the reason I have Mason Mount here is instead of as the 10 is I have Jack Grealish as the 10, and I want both Mount and Grealish playing. And Mount plays well either as an 8 or as a 10 or as a a wing on the right or left. And I'm pretty sure he could play second striker as well. But Mount's just a really overall good midfielder that's got a lot of good attacking quality too, and he's really creative. He's basically a playmaker, and he's a good goal scorer, good at playing final balls, and I think it's really important to have him in the lineup. So my attacking midfielder number 10 is Jack Grealish. I think Jack Grealish is a really special English player. The other really special English player for me is Marcus Rashford, but I don't have him in this lineup since he hasn't been playing that much recently, but yeah, I wouldn't be opposed to having him in there. So I think Jack Grealish is, plays like someone that's from Brazil or Spain or just not English. He's very skillful and technical and creative, a lot faster than probably gets credit for, very good at finishing, setting up goals, 1v1 dribbling. And it was interesting when Manchester City was in the semifinals against Real Madrid. A bunch of idiots were saying that Grealish, missed 2 shots when really they were essentially miracle saves. One was by Courtois with, I'm forgetting if he did some sort of kick save where he barely got his toe on it. And then the other one, I believe, was a double save where a defender kind of blocked his shot, and then Courtois got it too. But the important thing is both of his shots were going in, and they were saved by really good saves. And a bunch of idiots, on social media before they saw the replays said that he, missed 2 easy chances, and he actually created those chances, and they were hard to create, and they were saved. So, people should have looked at those replays before making this dumb comments. And people actually even still said it, way after the game. I guess they didn't watch the replays. Now up top, I'm going with 2 strikers, like 2 out and out strikers, 2 number 9s. Sometimes you can play, a second striker or like a number 10 up there, or someone that's really an 11, but I'm going with 2 9s. So I've got Harry Kane and Tammy Abraham. And Harry Kane's actually famous also for his playmaking ability. He likes to drop back and play passes. So this should work out pretty well. And Tammy Abraham for me is just a totally complete striker. And Harry Kane's considered one of the best strikers in the world. And Tammy Abraham had a totally prolific year with AS Roma. And he's got everything you could want: speed, technical ability, creativity, directness, good finishing, uses both feet and his head. And he's obviously a little less famous than Harry Kane, but I think using both of them would be a big weapon, because you almost never see people use 2 strikers anymore. Inter was doing it with Lautaro Martinez, and then Romelu Lukaku, and of course Chile would do it with Alexis Sanchez and excuse me, Eduardo Vargas. And I think if England was using this 2 striker setup, it would be really good at unsettling the opposition, and also it would be hard for the opposing team's center backs to decide which forward to mark. And of course they probably couldn't really mark both at once, or if one center back was on each of them, that kind of wouldn't be enough to contain those players. And then Jack Grealish would be there too. And I think this whole idea of the 2 strikers would be really dangerous and unsettling, and a lot of people wouldn't be expecting it, and it would be a ton of firepower, and it would just be a really bold, direct, and brave lineup. And I don't think it's like a wacky or crazy or gimmicky lineup. I think it would just be something that people haven't been using. A lot of teams have been doing the 4-3-3, and they haven't been using 10s, and I think it would be a big weapon to use a 10 behind two strikers, and this would be a really un-English thing to do, because Grealish is someone that a lot of English fans and pundits consider to be a luxury player, or they have all sorts of reasons they don't want to start a 10. But I think a 10 is actually essential to winning, and all the really big national teams and club teams always use a 10, and a 10 is not a luxury player. It's a key component to winning. So anyway, that's the England lineup that I would use. I have a couple others, but I think for me that's like their best one right now. And I know a lot of people are going to complain that Phil Foden's not in there, and of course he can be subbed in at halftime or at the 60th minute or the 70th minute or whatever. And then a lot of people think Raheem Sterling's a must start. And I understand that, but I wanted to go with Grealish behind Abraham and Kane, so I didn't have room for those guys. And like I said earlier, I'm a huge Marcus Rashford fan, so I wouldn't be opposed to having Marcus Rashford as one of the two strikers up front. And I even might do something where I had Tammy Abraham with Marcus Rashford, and that's probably considered blasphemy by English fans, since that would mean Kane wasn't on the bench, but there might be a scenario where you need that to happen. And in full disclosure, the other formation I would probably use for England is the 4-2-3-1, and then in that one there might be room for Marcus Rashford on the left wing, but maybe not, and that would kind of open up space to get Phil Foden in there on the right or left. But anyway, that's that Diamond 4-4-2 is the England 11 I would go with for now. So thanks everyone for tuning in. See you next time.